Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Deskbot deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one because this is actually a Patreon request deck by Jin. So this deck is a really amazing deck that can summon out some extremely powerful machine monsters that can get to some insanely high numbers. When I was playtesting this deck, I actually got one of my Deskbots, which was Deskbot 09, all the way up to about 25,000 attack points, which was absolutely crazy, and that's not even the highest that you can go. I've seen this deck go all the way to 50,000 attack points on a single monster, which is absolutely crazy and busted. So I'm really excited to bring this one to you guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, just like Jen did, for all those awesome rewards like getting your name in the description every single video, getting a signed card to the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron, along with test hands. So without further ado guys, definitely give Jen some love down in the comments down below, and let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing a single copy of Deskbot 09. So Deskbot 09 is a really amazing effect. It's kind of like a Sirocco the Dawn if you guys have ever played Black Wings, or a Ghost Trick Ghoul if you've ever played Ghost Trick. So what this card basically does is it has the ability that once per turn during your main phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the combined attack of all Deskbot monsters you currently control, except Deskbot 09, until the end of your opponent's turn. Also, you can only attack with this card the turn you activate this effect. And then, if this card battles, your opponent cannot activate cards and effects the same during the damage step either. And if this card would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can destroy one Deskbot card you control instead. So it also protects itself, which is really good. This is the one of the best boss monsters in the entire game to be able to summon in its own archetype. Like, I love the way that this card just works with all the other cards. And this card can literally get, like I said, to like 50 or 60,000 in the game. It's just crazy. We then play two copies of Deskbot 08, which Deskbot 08 is kind of neat. All of your Deskbot Pendulum Scales effects are you cannot special on monsters except for Deskbot monsters, and you cannot Pendulum Summon monsters except for Deskbot monsters, and this effect cannot be negated. So that's not that big of a deal because the only thing you're ever going to be Pendulum Summoning in this deck is going to be your Deskbots anyway, so that's not that big of a deal. So we're just going to go over the monster effects from here out. So this card gains 500 attack for each Deskbot in your graveyard, and then your opponent cannot target face-up Deskbot with card effects except this one. And this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, which is a really good effect just to be able to basically make this card be able to attack twice. We then play 2 copies of Deskbot 07, which gains 500 attack for each Deskbot in your graveyard. And monster your opponent control cannot target face-up Deskbot monsters. Your opponent controls cannot target face-up Deskbot monsters for attacks except this one. And if this card attacks a special monster, you can inflict piercing damage as well. So that's really cool that it also does piercing damage. We then play 3 copies of Deskbot 06. So Deskbot 06 has a really neat effect that its card is normal or special summon. You get to target one monster on the field and change its battle position. And this card gains 500 attack for each face-up Deskbot monster in your extra deck. And if this card is in your Pendulum Zone, is destroyed, then you can target a Deskbot card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. We then play 3 copies of Deskbot 05. So Deskbot 05 is also a very unique card in this deck. That if this card is special summon, you target spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. It gains 500 attack for each face-up Deskbot monster in your extra deck. If this card is in your Pendulum Zone, is destroyed, then you can target a Deskbot monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is really good for the deck to be able to help you get additional Deskbots out of the graveyard if it does get popped, because sometimes with your Deskbot Jet, you actually will pop this card. We then play 3 copies of Deskbot 04. Deskbot 04 is really, really good in this deck. It is basically an OTK piece because it has the ability that if this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can activate this effect to once per battle, your opponent takes no more further battle damage, but you can send any Deskbot card from your deck to the graveyard that's a monster, and then this card gains 500 attack times the monster's level, which can get really big because you can send something like a Deskbot 09 to the graveyard, and this card will gain 4,500 going up to 5,000. Like, that's actually crazy that you can summon this card that easily. It also has the ability that if this card destroys an opponent's monster at battle, you can special summon 2 Deskbot monsters with different levels from your hand and or graveyard in defense position. So you get your Deskbots back that you send to the graveyard, which is pretty good. We then play the best normal summon in the entire deck, and that is 3 copies of Deskbot 03. Then when it's normal summon, you can special summon a Deskbot monster from your deck, which is always going to be Deskbot 01 to be able to link into your Needle Fiber, and then go from Needle Fiber into Auroradon, and then go crazy plays from there, which you guys will see in the test hands. But it also has the ability that once per turn, during either player's turn, you can target 1 Deskbot monster you control, and it gains 500 attack and defense for each Deskbot card you currently control until the end of the turn. So it can get really big really quickly. We then play 3 copies of Deskbot 02, which is the searcher of the deck. That if this card is special summon, you get to add a Deskbot card from your deck to your hand, and all machine monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense except this card. We then play 2 copies of Deskbot 01. Deskbot 01 has the ability that this card gains 500 attack and defense for each machine monster you control, and if 2 or more machine monsters are special summoned at the same time while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon it, which is really cool because it works really well with the Mecha Phantom Beast cards that you're playing in the deck, and in the extra deck, because you're going to get additional cards, you're going to get to revive this card over and over again to synchro over and over again. We play a single copy of Cult Wing for the Auroradon combo because you contribute off 2 of the tokens to be able to special summon out the copy of Cult Wing, and then the Cult Wing will give you 2 tokens back, so basically it gives you a free monster. And then we play a single copy of Warbleran because it is a level 1 tuner monster. You can change this out for another copy of Deskbot 01, and then basically play 3 of just about every single Deskbot from 06 down. You can change that out if you want to, but for now, I'm just playing a single copy of Warbleran because it is a little bit of a different tuner that you're going to be playing in the deck, and it changes it up a little bit where you're able to play with your Riser Dragon a little bit easier. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, you're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn is basically here just as an extender to get your cards back to your side of the field a little bit faster to extend. We play 3 copies of Deskbot Base, which kind of works like a magical mallet. It also makes all of your Deskbot monsters gain 500 attack and defense, and then once per turn, you can reveal any number of Deskbot cards in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw the same number of cards. It also has a very unique effect that you can banish 9 Deskbot monsters with different names from your field and your graveyard, except this card, and shuffle all cards that your opponent controls in their hand, field, and graveyard into the deck, which is insanely good. But you're never going to get that effect off because it's usually really hard to get all the Deskbots, but you can come up if a game drags on long enough. We then play 3 copies of Limiter Removal because Limiter Removal doubles the attack of all your machine monsters, which can basically OTK your opponent with this single card. Play 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More because it can kind of shut down an opponent's board, so you can go into your crazy plays, and you're typically going second in this deck anyways. Play 3 copies of Machine Dupe. Machine Dupe can really work in this deck a lot because a lot of your monsters, actually every single main deck monster, starts at base 500, so everything is a Machine Dupe target except for your copy of your Mecha Phantom Beast monster, which is your Cult Wing. Warbleran is a copy of a Machine Dupe target, but you're never going to do that because you never want to summon that card to your side of the field off of this because you only play 1. We then play 3 copies of Urgent Schedule to round out the main deck. The Urgent Schedules are here because it works with Earth Machines, and if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower and 1 level 5 or higher Earth Machine monster from your deck in defense position, but you do negate their effects and you can't declare an attack turn you activate this. This card is a little bit more of a protection card because it's going to get your monsters on your side of the field. That's going to help you extend during the next turn, and it can also just protect you overall by putting monsters on the field. So this card's really good as a 3 of in the deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Deskbot Jet. So Deskbot Jet is a really good card in this deck, and you actually summon it pretty frequently because it has the ability that it takes 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner, so it's generic, and this card gains 500 attack and defense for each Deskbot card on the field, and you can only use one of the following effects of this card per turn. This card is how you're going to usually summon out your copy of your Deskbot 09 to the field the majority of the time. But it has the ability that you can target 1 Deskbot card you control, destroy it, and if you do, you get to special summon any Deskbot monster from the deck. And you can also target 1 Deskbot you control and 1 face-up card on the field and destroy them both. So it can kind of help you pop off a little bit where you can get additional plays with this card because you're going to be able to pop your Deskbot cards on your side of the field and then special summon a Deskbot from the deck, which is pretty good. And then some of your scales will actually go off as well, which help you out a lot. We then play a single copy of Ravenous Croco Dragon. Croco Dragon can come out pretty easily, and it's really easy to get a bunch of cards in hand to give this card a lot of attack points. And also lets you discard 2 cards to target a card on the field and destroy it, which can help out in the deck a lot. 1 copy of Borreload Savage, because it's a great negate to summon to your side of the field. 1 copy of Riser Dragon. This card is absolutely needed in this deck. This card helps you level manipulate into different kind of levels, because you usually send the copy of your Mecha Phantom Beast Warbleran to the graveyard to make it a 6, so you can synchro the 6 and the 4 with your Colt Wing, which again you guys will see in the test hands, to go into your copy of Jet, which helps out a lot in this particular deck. We play a single copy of F.A. Dawn Dragster. The Dawn Dragster helps out a lot too, because it's an additional negate that you can summon off your copy of your Auroradon tokens, which is really nice to negate spells and traps. 1 copy of Coral Dragon, because Coral Dragon has the ability to be a tuner monster, and also you can discard a card to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. 1 copy of Hyper Librarian. Hyper Librarian is insane in this deck, because the Hyper Librarian lets you draw a card every time you synchro summon, and you're going to be synchro summoning upwards of 4 times in your turn, 3 to 4 times at least on your turn, so this card comes in really handy. 1 copy of Naturia Beast. The Naturia Beast is really good too, because it negates spells, and it can come in really handy in this deck to be able to just negate spells. 1 copy of Herald of the Arclight, because it gives you additional negations, and you need a level 4 synchro monster to go into your copy of your TG Hyper Librarian. A little bit easier, which again you guys will see in test hands. 1 copy of Quandrax. Quandrax is really good because it's a tuner level 4. We play a single copy of Infinity to give us additional negates, and a single copy of Nova. These cards I did actually consider dropping in this deck to add more tuner monsters or more link monsters. But I do really like them in this deck, because it does come up sometimes that you will have a level 5 on your side of the field to be able to go into a copy of Nova, and then Infinity to be able to go into additional plays. So I left them in here for that reason. But if you do feel like you need more link monsters than I'm playing, you can drop them for other cards like Borreload, or Boral Sword, Borreload, Access Code, Nightmare Phoenix, Unicorn, and IP. We then play a single copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. This card is a key card in the deck to be able to throw tokens on your side of the field to then start synchroing with them. A single copy of Cleafort Genius, because the Cleafort Genius actually works really well with a Pendulum deck like this, because it's going to be able to give you additional plays, because if 2 or more monsters are special to a zone this card points to, you'd add a level 5 or higher machine from your deck to your hand, which can get you really good plays, and its zones are really good for Pendulum monsters. We then play a single copy of Needle Fiber. The Needle Fiber is absolutely necessary in a deck like this, because it's going to special summon out your copy of 01 and then go 01 into your copy of Auroradon, and then it just snowballs from there, because you're going to get 3 tokens on your side of the field and 2 Deskbot 01s just off the normal sum of an 03, which is just really, really good. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. It's a really fun deck, and I really appreciate Jen requesting this one, because this deck is absolutely an OTK beast of a deck. Like, this deck usually OTKs if it goes second. It's really fun to play with, and it can go into some really amazing cool combos to OTK against your opponents. You guys should definitely give Deskbot a try, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of Notification Squad. Give Jen some love down in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.